Hey guys, it's Hunter. Welcome back to another episode of Ask-Gufish. Let's just jump straight into your questions. Speaking of the High-Intergrity mod project, when is the Hello Kitty mod project coming out? Yeah, the last one where I threw $600 worth of Fishman-Fluence pickups and Hipshot hardware into that pink $30 Strat, that video's hit over 1 million views now, and so a lot of people have been asking where's the follow-up. And it's coming soon-ish with the Hello Kitty guitar. I wish I could be more specific than that, but as you can imagine, working as an independent creator with a bunch of different brands for different parts, it's a lot for one person to sort out. Just waiting for a couple of things to fall into place, but yeah, it's almost ready and we are upping the game on this one. So I'm gonna have to ask for a little more patience, but it's gonna be fun. In the meantime, I've got something that I think a lot of you will be interested in, especially the Patreon supporters. If you're new around here and you haven't heard me talk about it before, basically Patreon is a platform to support your favorite creators with a monthly pledge for extra perks, and that makes the content on here possible. And as a way to give back, I'm pleased to announce that I've partnered with Sam Ash to do a High-Intergrity mod project for one of you. Anyone who's a patron for this month, I want you to submit a video of yourself. It can be shot on a camera phone or whatever, introducing the absolute guitar in your collection. It can be a $5 piece of junk you picked up at a garage sale, a mod project gone wrong, a guitar that fell on the floor and the headstock decided to f off somewhere. I want to see the worst that you got. I'm going to use those in a video compilation, going to choose one, and unfortunately because of liability reasons we can't take that actual guitar, but I get to pick one out of Sam Ash's used stock, mod the living out of it High-Intergrity style, and send it back to you. I'm talking premium electronics, brand new hardware, a full inspection and professional setup by the Sam Ash techs, and possibly more. Video submissions are open from now until the end of the month. Anyone who's a current patron or signs up by the end of November can enter. Sorry to patrons outside of the US, you're kind of getting the short end of the stick again. You guys can still do video submissions, which I'll include in the compilation if they're crappy enough, but because Sam Ash only operates in the United States, I can only do the full High-Intergrity mod for US residents. I pushed for it, they weren't down. You can understand it's kind of a headache for them. So for more details, head over to the Patreon page, link in the description. If you're enjoying the content, want to support what I do, and put yourself in the running for a free High-Intergrity modded guitar, check it out. Did you see the new Fender Meteora? Yeah, I kind of feel like we talked about the Meteora last year at about the same time before NAMM. But just a day ago, Fender released a video introducing the quote, all new Fender Meteora, where designer Josh Hurst explains the inspiration behind the new guitar. I guess they just started shipping and getting into players' hands, and that's why we're seeing a sudden uptick in interest towards it. So the Meteora is part of Fender's Parallel Universe series, where parts from various guitars are mixed and matched into configurations that are both new and at the same time very familiar. I'm a huge fan of sci-fi movies, so I really dig this concept. The Meteora is kind of like the results of if a Jazzmaster and a Telecaster had a baby. It has an offset ash body and a bolt-on maple mid-60s C-shaped Jazzmaster neck with a 9.5-inch fingerboard radius. It also has a nitro finish, block inlays, a bone nut, an American Professional Tele bridge with brass saddles, and custom shop Tele pickups. It should feel familiar to play with 22 narrow tall frets and a standard Fender 25.5-inch scale length. I'm not sure if there are multiple finishes or not. There's at least the butterscotch version that's appearing everywhere on the internet, but also at the end of Fender's own video, there's like this relic sky blue one that looks fantastic. I don't know why that isn't the one they're promoting everywhere, because that one looks incredible. So I'm not really sure what to think of the Meteora, to be honest. It kind of reminds me of like a Flying V or an Explorer in that it has a retro futuristic vibe going on. I guess if it was cheaper, I'd be willing to give it a go, but with a price tag of $2,000, if I want a Fender, I'm not sure the Meteora would be my first pick over a more traditional Strat or Tele. Well, what do you think of the Meteora, especially given the price tag? You love it, you hate it, you'd rather see a made in Mexico version? I'm really curious, since whenever big traditional companies like Fender or Gibson introduce new shapes, they're generally not received very well. Let me know in the poll. High-Intergrity. Not really a question, but I love how even Diodario is getting in on the High-Intergrity meme. And it's also a good segue for a merch plug. Quick reminder, there's just one more week to grab your High-Intergrity merch before it's potentially gone forever. So if you've ever wanted to wear that badge proudly on a shirt or have one of the stickers to put on one of your own guitars, link is in the cards and in the description. And there's also a Mola Mola shirt that looks really nice. Gibson is bringing back the Paul. Demo maybe? Yeah, this was kind of a surprise move out of nowhere. Last week we talked about the new Gibson CEO and leadership team, and this week Gibson has announced that it is reissuing the Paul for its 40th anniversary. Now, what is the Paul? Essentially, it's a stripped down, bare bones, walnut version of the Les Paul. The original was only produced for a few years in the late 70s and early 80s. The flat top body, the rounded neck, everything, it's all walnut with a transparent satin nitro finish. The body also has an arm bevel and body cut, which is cool. You don't normally see those on Les Pauls. The Paul has a rosewood fingerboard with 22 cryogenically treated low frets. Then it's got Grover tuners, a Gibson 490R in the neck, and a 498T in the bridge, same as this year's LP Studio. What also sets this guitar apart is the control scheme. The pickup selector is behind the bridge near the control pots rather than above the neck humbucker. Personally, I really like the look of the Paul, though I've also heard it described by its critics as a repurposed cupboard with pickups and tuners. Now, Gibson is asking $13.99 for this reissue, which for an American-made limited edition Les Paul, that's not bad. You can get used ones from the original run for cheaper, but they were made during the era where Gibson was using very low frets, so most of the vintage ones you'll get on eBay or Reverb would probably need a fret job. I'm really interested in this model, and I'm strongly considering trying to secure one for a demo. But as a massive Les Paul fan, that's just me. What do you think of the Paul? Interested? Not so interested? Would you rather see a 2019 tribute instead? As the two most affordable single cuts in Gibson's 2019 lineup, those are the ones I would most want to make a video of. But as always, I would like your opinions on what content you want to see. Poll in the top right. What are your thoughts on Wolf guitars? Yeah, these were kind of like all the rage a few weeks ago. I was getting a ton of requests for them. So what are they? Well, they kind of remind me of Agile guitars. Wolf guitars are made in South Korea, they're feature packed, and at least on paper, what you're getting is very good value for money. So they have a number of inspired by guitars. The most notable are the WLP series, Les Paul style, the KLP series, PRS style, KSA series, ES335 style, WATM, ES339 style, and the TC series, which is their Tele style. Personally, I prefer solid body guitars, so I'm most interested in the WLP, the KLP, and TC series. So let's look at the WLP series first, because I guess at this point, this is pretty much like a single cut porn channel. So for $449 US, you get the classic Les Paul body shape, 24 3/4 inch scale length, 22 medium fret ebony fingerboard, and Grover tuners. It doesn't look like there's a proper maple cap. Instead, Wolf has opted for a AAA flame maple veneer on top of a mahogany body, and it comes in purple, blue, red, green, sunburst, white, black, and natural. Most finishes are also available in left-handed versions as well. There's also a limited edition $7.99 abalone one, which I think looks incredibly obnoxious, but I'm sure at least one of you watching is totally into this. The entire top is made of abalone. Wow. For electronics, all the pickups are Destiny brand humbuckers. Doesn't really say much more than that. What's interesting is that the fingerboard radius is a flat Ibanez-like 16 inches. It's not like the classic roundish 12 inches found on Gibsons. Not really sure why they made this call, since these guitars seem more geared towards the traditional player, but it's cool, it sets them apart, I guess. Then the KLP or PRS style guitars come in two flavors, solid body and semi-hollow. The solid bodies go for $380 US. You get a mahogany body, mahogany neck, and ash veneer top, a 24 fret rosewood fingerboard, and Grover tuners. The semi-hollows are a little more expensive at $449 with the same specs, but with flame or quilt maple veneers. Now, I'm not exactly sure PRS fans would be totally into these though. Three key differences stand out to me. Firstly, again, the fingerboard radius is a very flat 16 inches. PRS is usually even rounder than Gibson's at 10 inches. That's something that normally always catches my attention when I play PRS guitars. Then the scale length is a Gibson-esque 24 3/4 inches rather than the PRS standard of 25 inches. That may sound like a small difference on paper, but in practice, even 1/4 of an inch can make a pretty noticeable difference for string tension and bends. And then the last thing is that the bridge is like a raised Epiphone tunematic rather than a one-piece trem or stop tail. On second look, these kind of look like a McCarthy 594 with a slightly longer scale length than 24 frets, so like a 594 custom 24 hybrid. Also has the same Destiny pickups and comes in blue, orange, and red for the solid body, while the semi-hollow can be had in trans black, blue, and amber with gold and chrome hardware options. And the last one that looks really interesting to me is the TC series, which is Wolf's take on the modern Tele. This has an ash body, solid walnut top, a 5-piece maple walnut neck that runs right through the body, and a nice little neck heel cutaway for great upper fret access. This one comes in two colors, walnut and green, both of which I think look awesome with the satin finish, though I'm not sure about the cheesy Wolf Paul inlays. Again, Grover tuners, this one has a graphite nut, and it's got a stupid flat 20-inch fingerboard radius, so this one is definitely more for the shredders. I will say that one thing that bothers me more than it should is the sheer amount of abalone in these guitars, especially the LP style ones. They're so gaudy. There's abalone in the logo, the inlays, the binding. I'm really not into that, and I don't think I'd ever own one for myself for that sole reason. But I'm still curious to see how Wolf's quality compares to other similar brands, specifically Agile. To be perfectly honest with you, while they look good, they aren't exactly blowing me away for specs. That being said, the prices are very reasonable and Guitar Max seems to love them, so what are you guys thinking on Wolf guitars? I reached out to them a few weeks ago, they haven't responded yet. This may be something for the patrons, which by the way, patrons, if you haven't filled out the Google form to choose which guitar I buy, review, and then send home with one of you, the link is on the Patreon site right now. After this video, the patrons have a lot of homework to do. And for everyone else, are Wolf guitars exciting for you? Do you want to see a video? If so, which ones? Let me know in the poll. And that will do it for this week's episode of Ask-A-Fish. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Hit the like button, leave your thoughts on anything discussed in the comments, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. You can also click the little bell for notifications, otherwise YouTube won't let you know when I've uploaded a new video. Links to everything, including social media and the Patreon page, are in the description. You can find more details on there on how to sign up and potentially get yourself a guitar that's been modded high-integrity style. As always, thanks so much for watching. You've been awesome, and I'll see you for the next video.